Hello, ladies, and welcome back to another Black women centered educational video. So, this content was inspired by the current book that I am actually reading, and it is the book called Hooded: A Black Girl's Guide to the PhD by Dr. Malika Grayson. So, I really want to be able to touch on some things here. And her book actually inspired me to make this podcast because in her book, she focuses in on having imposter syndrome, and she talks about her being from Trinidad, being an immigrant coming here to study STEM, specifically engineering. She also talks about how she sees no familiar faces, how she's the only one, and she constantly has this thought in the back of her mind that entertains her about, do my peers believe that I am deserving of being here in this PhD program? Do my white peers believe that I deserve this spot? Let's really dig into that and dive into that. A lot of the times, the reason why you find yourself in higher education as a woman of color, specifically a black woman, whether you are pursuing a PhD program, your MBA, being in medical school, or any career in STEM, I understand a lot of us suffer from what is called imposter syndrome. But one thing that I really truly want to touch on is, and this is just going to be the hard truth, you care way too much about what these white people think of you if you are in these spaces. If you have made it this far to graduate with your bachelor's degree, if you have made it this far to get into a whole PhD program, if you've made it this far to actually have a passing MCAT score and get accepted into a medical school, and you're in these spaces and you are constantly riddled and overrun by the thoughts of, well, how do they view me? What do they think of me? Do they feel that I deserve to be here? I am just going to say it as bluntly but truthful as I can. You are the one hurting yourself. And if you're constantly wondering why you cannot excel academically as the same as your white peers, who you are constantly thinking about if they believe you should be there or not, you are the one that is doing it to yourself. You do not have time to sit here in these higher educational programs and sit up there and worry about whether or not who gives a damn about you deserving to be in that same space with them or not. You are not there for that. Because trust and believe, your white peers do not have the same feelings as you. They do not have the same doubts as you. Now, granted, they may be struggling academically the same way as you. But guess what? One thing about your white peers in these higher up programs, they're not going to allow you to see them sweat. And you need to learn to do the same. So whether you're starting off in a registered nursing program, just, for your associates, and you plan on going into your bachelor's, you don't have time to be sitting up here thinking about what these white people think of you. You don't have time to be sitting up here thinking about, oh, they don't believe that I deserve to be here. You are in this program for you. You are in this MBA program for you. You are in this nursing program for yourself. You have passed this MCAT and got into this medical school for your benefit. Okay, that's what you need to focus on, and that's what you need to understand, because I'm starting to see a pattern of black women in higher learning that constantly get riddled with these thoughts. They believe I don't deserve to be here. They believe that I don't deserve this spot. They believe I don't deserve to be here with them. Why do you care? Why do you care? See, even in higher academia, black women need to learn to be selfish. They need to learn how to be selfishly driven. Okay? You're paying way too much money in student loans. You're taking out student loans to be able to complete this process that is going to be beneficial for you. All this other stuff about race and you being the only one, listen, I understand that, but it has to come to a point to where it cannot affect you academically. Okay? Black women are already probably less than 12 to 10% in this country who are in medical school. So once you get to that point in medical school, or once you get to that point in your engineering program where maybe you're pursuing your PhD, just like how Dr. Malika Grayson is in this book that I'm touching on. You don't have time to get to these spaces and start making it about race and start making it be about, oh, I'm the only one. We don't have, as Black women, we don't have time for those type of insecurities when we're out here competing academically. Because trust and believe, you are competing. You are, because these people, look around you right now in your program. These are going to be your future peers in your possible career. So you cannot allow yourself to feel some type of way about being in the same space. We have these conversations in these higher learning spaces when it comes to Black women about being the only one, being the only Black face, or being the just only Black woman. Oh, I feel like I have to carry my entire race on my shoulders. Oh, I feel like I have to represent in these spaces. You know what? I understand why many of you may feel that way. I get it. I do. But you have to understand, because you're going to sit back and you're going to, how can I say this? You're going to realize and you're going to question why you're not doing well academically compared to your peers. You're going to start to question yourself as to why you're not grasping the information as fast as your peers. You want to know why? Because you're too focused on what the hell they think. You're too focused on people who are not thinking about you. These white kids and these Asian kids and these non-Black students that you're in these programs with, they're not sitting up here thinking about representing their whole race. They're not sitting up here thinking about you either. And they don't give a damn about these white folks, thinking about, oh, do I deserve to be in the same space as them? I worked my butt off to get here, but I just feel like, no. They don't have time to feel like that. You want to know why? Because the Indian girl that you're in your engineering class with, her mother and father are rooting on her, and she better come home with that PhD. She's thinking about her family. She's thinking about her future. Okay? That Japanese girl, that's a transfer student that came way over here to attend your university to get into her engineering field. She ain't thinking about you. She ain't thinking about being the only Asian girl there. She could give a damn less. She thinking about her damn self. She thinking about finishing up this PhD degree so that she can find her a husband and possibly work when she wants to. That's what she thinking about. But you're over here in a whole PhD program, or using up here in a whole program to become a physician in medical school, talking about, I have to represent for my entire race and I'm the only one, and we don't got time for that no more. We have to change our way of thinking. We really do. Black women especially, because Black women are the main ones in the community who are actually out here getting the degree. So if you're the main one out here getting the degrees, you're going to have to learn how to be a little bit more selfish. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. You're going to really have to learn to leave that bull crap behind and focus on competing academically, for real. Because Trust and believe. I have so many peers who are physicians and stuff like that, who are black, African American, or of diaspora, whatever. They're black, and there was a time in their academic career where they had to sit back and examine why is it that they're not competing at the same level academically as their white peers or everybody else in that medical program or in that engineering program. It's because they found themselves being insecure and focusing too much on being the only one. Oh, there's no other black people here. Oh, well, how am I supposed to find a mentor because nobody looks like me? And see, that part I can understand. Trust and believe. Now, if you're in a program, yes, definitely. I would highly suggest that you find someone who can come from a similar background. But guess what? If you can't, you better pick the person who is going to rock with you and make sure that you make a smooth transition from your program to your career. I don't care if they yellow, black, purple, green, white, it does not matter. You need to learn how to pick people that's going to be on your team. You need to learn how to identify allies when you're in higher learning as well. See, that's another thing. You can't put yourself in a box. And I'm going to give you all an example. Like I said, I'm currently reading Hooded by Dr. Malika Grayson. Dr. Malika Grayson comes from Trinidad. So she came over to this country to pursue engineering. Now, already in her engineering program, right? She's the only one. Don't never see no black faces. But she gets to a point in her program where she has the option of working with two black male mentees. One of these black male mentees has a similar Caribbean background to hers. Now, she emphasizes in the book that she was happy and finally relieved to be able to gravitate towards two mentors that look like her. However, she wind up going with a black mentor that had a similar Caribbean background to her. Now, I understand that many of you probably would do the same thing. Okay, maybe if you're Nigerian, okay, you may want to gravitate towards a mentor because you all share the same culture. But you all need to understand something about that, and I understand this may rub some of you the wrong way. In her book, she chose to go with him, right, because of his similar background. When stuff started to hit the fan for her, and when she chose to go to his office and pour her heart out to him about, listen, I need another 6 months to be able to feel comfortable to complete my competency and pass my test. And, she just poured everything out to him. He had no emotion towards her. He did not level with her how she believed in her mind he would. See, that's what I'm talking about. You all need to be open to everybody. I don't care if they don't share a similar background to you, if they don't share the same skin color as you, or cultural background. See, she thought she could go to him because, oh, I'm from Trinidad and he has a Caribbean background, so he'll be able to understand me and he'll really be on my side. Well, she was in for a rude awakening, because what he did, he gave her a dose of reality. See, all of that did not matter when it came down to her going to him at a point in her educational career and saying, listen, I don't feel competent right now to take this competency test. I need a 6 months extension. I need this. And she broke down to him and let it all out. He did not give her the emotional response that she was looking for. So in this book, his response to her was this: okay, you can take a 6-month break to get yourself together and become competent to pass your test. But he said, when those 6 months are up and it's time to take that test, are you still going to be feeling incompetent? So what difference does it make if you take a 6 months break now? He broke it down to her. He told her, what if you still feel incompetent? What do you plan on doing? What are you going to do? And he was quite firm with her. So that's what I'm talking about. When you put yourself in a box as a black woman and you even limit yourself when it comes to being open to other mentors and different allies that don't have the same background as you also limit yourself. Because she could have also easily went with the other black mentor that probably didn't share the same Caribbean background as her. You know what I mean? But one thing that I can say is it probably is a good thing that she went with him, because again, he gave her that dose of reality. And as a black woman, when you're entering into these spaces, you're gonna have to bring yourself back to a reality. You're gonna have to understand how to make allies that come from different backgrounds and different races than you. You're gonna have to understand how to be selfish. You're gonna have to understand to leave certain concepts of you being the only one out of the equation, because in the long run, it's going to hurt you academically. You do not have time to be in these spaces and be riddled and overrun with thoughts of feeling inferior and overrun with thoughts of not feeling deserving of being in these spaces. Clearly, you deserve to be here if you were able to be competent enough to make it past a bachelor's degree and enter into these programs. Okay, that's number one. That's number one. So with that being said, listen, black women, I understand imposter syndrome is real, but when it comes to making it an emphasis on being the only one, that right there is what's going to set you back. Because that same energy that you have for constantly thinking about being the only one, that energy could be used to compete harder academically against your peers. Because let's be real, the people that you're in these programs with, these are going to be your future peers in the workforce. Okay, you want to start your law firm? Guess what? These peers that are working with you in your law classes, oh yeah, they are going to be in the same courtrooms as you. Okay, these are going to be your future engineers right along with you. You're in medical school. Well, guess what? These are going to be the future doctors that you're going to be working with. You're going to be working with these people until you retire, and you may come across these same people in your career further down the line, maybe 10, 15 years down the line. If you feel inferior now, if you feel like you're not deserving of being here now, how are you going to handle the next 20, 30 years of being in this career overrun with people that don't look like you then? That's the part that you also need to think about and put into perspective. So, ladies, I really hope that this could help somebody out here. I hope that this video is able to put things into a real perspective for you, and just really marinate on this video. Just really sit here and think about it. Put the focus on competing academically. Who gives a damn about you being the only one? Girl, get this degree. Mind your business, keep it pushing, learn how to network with allies, and that's it. That's it. So, ladies, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I will talk to you later. Bye.